Hello beautiful and welcome to another 6 indie palettes, 6 different looks, which is a series here on my channel where I show you 6 different eye tutorials, trying to give you some new techniques, some new suggestions, some new color combos to inspire you to play with your makeup, and at the same time I'm showing you some of the new palettes from the indie community on the market. And in this video I have actually 5 new palettes and 1 older palette that I'm doing another look with, because I didn't have a 6th palette and I was like, I'm already committed, so I'm gonna do 6 looks. So I also did this look at the end, and I did that actually with the Galactic Visitor by Singe Beauty, which is the palette from my own brand. And I did this all matte look that I think is absolutely beautiful, and that's gonna be look number 6. With these other brands, I was gonna say I got all of these in PR. That's actually not true, because the first palette, the one from Adept Cosmetics, the Minka palette, I did buy this palette myself, but the other 5 palettes, the Arttitude Ink Roses, the Thinking of You by Unearthly, the Shattered Romance by Dede Signature, and the I Love Coffee by Klarity Cosmetics. Those 5 palettes I got in PR, and you can use my affiliate code Angelica on all 5 of these palettes and get some money off in case you're ordering from these brands. But this video is not sponsored. They sent me the palettes hoping I'll do something with them, and I just decided to do 6 different eye looks in this video. I will divide the eye looks into different chapters, showing you the palettes, showing you some swatches, and then diving into a tutorial showing you what this palette could do. I also have some of these brands have other products in here. I know we're going to be talking about some blushes in one of these segments, but you can always refer back to the chapters. If you hover over the timeline down below, you'll be able to see the different chapters if you want to jump around a little bit, because I know that helps, because usually these videos do get a little bit longer. This video is not a shop with me. This video is a combination, like I said, of just doing old school tutorials, explaining what I'm doing, giving some techniques, giving some suggestions, showing you some things so you can shop your stash and recreate. But if you were interested in any of these palettes, it's also giving me a little way for me to show you swatches and giving some initial thoughts about these palettes if you were interested in any of these. Remember, none of the videos on my channel is meant to make you feel that you should buy something that you actually do not want. My videos are here to help you in your purchasing decision, to help you find the perfect thing for you if you were interested in purchasing anything. And if not, I hope you just get inspired to maybe play around with your makeup and find some new ways of using the stuff that you already have and own. Let's dive into these looks. The first one is going to be this, oh my god, I loved wearing the first look, was this really fierce reverse cat eye that I did with the Adept palette. So let's jump into that one right now. So I did purchase the Minka palette. I did buy this one myself, and I'm very excited. I wanted to see how the packaging was for the new Adept Cosmetics. And it is, I'm probably mentioning this in the beginning, and if I'm not, I'm saying it now. It is not the exact same as Natasha Denona, but it does have a similar feel to it. Also, if my voice is sounding a little bit different or a little bit strained, this is actually the first time that I'm filming since I lost my voice. I am pre-filming this, but I lost my voice, so I haven't been talking for over 2 days, honestly. But we are going to be using Dana, and we are going to be using Maria, and we're going to do a reversed smoky liner, and I am going to be using the liner brush that I just released with Singe Beauty. But we're going to start with Dana, and we are just going to keep it airy, breezy, and lavender on the top. And I'm putting this in the crease, and then I'm just gonna blend it both a little bit on the lid but also up. I'm not doing something super dark. I'm trying to keep it a little bit airy on top so that we can have the smoky liner at the bottom. So this is how I'm gonna leave the top, but I'm gonna use this one that's called Mia. It seems to be a duochrome holographic shade, and we are gonna put this on top. Again, I'm not trying to make this anything super specific, because this is just like the foundation of the actual look. That's cute. So this is how we're leaving it, and now we're going in with the dark shadow. So we're actually going to start with the EO7, and we are going to put that dark shadow on the lower lash line to begin with. And I'm just like patting it on all the way into the inner corner. And all the way out. And the trick to make this reverse smoky, like cat eye liner look good on a somewhat aging eyelid is to also do a little bit and tie it into the top. Not all the way, but maybe like 1/3. And I'm just doing, as you can see, a thin line. And here I'm doing a little bit of a wedge. So I'm doing it a little bit thicker on the outside and a little bit thinner on the inside. So we're leaving it like this. And now with the E12 that has a bent ferrule to make it easier to work with, we are going to be using that to do a little bit of that dark shadow in the inner part too, just around the inner corner to get that little detail. And I'm just brushing ever so lightly. And because the ferrule is bent, you can still lean your hand to your chest like you normally do with a makeup brush and get that stability that you sometimes don't get with the liner brushes. So I'm leaning it against my chest, and now I'm starting where these end, and I'm slowly doing a little flick up. And this one is a very fine bristles. They're leaning inwards to make them into a very fine tip. So you can use them like I'm doing today with a powder, with a liquid, with a gel. You can use them with glitter accents if you want to do some glitter. There's a lot of different ways that you can use something like this. And I'm just gently upwards doing a little bit of a flick. And I'm gonna do it a little bit more smoky and a little bigger. I'm evening up the edge here, and I'm just getting everything to line up, and I'm elongating a little bit more. And now I'm gonna go in with a pencil brush, and I'm gonna use a little bit more of Maria, and I am gonna apply that, and I am gonna smoke this out a bit to not make it as precise. But this is a good like template for where you wanna smoke it out. And then I'll come back and I'll intensify the line again. Now I'm going in with that fine tip again, and I'm just intensifying the middle. And I'm dragging out a fine line again. Because we want it to be smoky around, but we also want to have that detail in the middle. Coming out from the lower lash line, because again, this is where most of our intensity is. And then going into a fine tip. Like that. A little smokiness. I might even smoke a little bit more here. A smokiness, maybe with just powder shadows and this brush and a pencil brush, these two new brushes, to make it intense, but still it's not cut off by the hood, because you can see I have a hood going on here, the fold you see here, because we are taking the liner underneath, coming from the lower lash line. This is a way for you to do a little bit of a dramatic liner or a smoky cat eye without being interrupted by a hood that will come with aging. So it's just a little tip if you want to make some dramatic eye makeup. I really like it. Okay, so that is the finished look. I did put on a half lash. I did do some dark in my waterline as well, but I really enjoy it. It's a little bit different from the type of look that I like usually do, but I do think that it's looking really exciting and really dramatic while still not having any darkness on the upper part of my lid. So why do I feel like my camera is so tilted? I usually sit here, but I'm like so out of focus. Like I'm gonna have to go and fix that, but yeah, let's get into look number 2. Hopefully not so tilted to the side. So we are gonna do something with the Ink and Roses by Arttitude Cosmetics. I have not done anything with this palette, and I feel like there's so many options in this palette. I think that this is one of the more well-curated palettes that the brand has done, because there's so many things that we could be doing. And I almost want to do, I don't do that a lot, but I want to do, I kind of want to do an all matte look. And I know that that's probably, like, there's so many good shimmers in here, and I kind of am not feeling like a burgundy look. So I'm thinking I might do this one, Petal, and then maybe this one here, Thorn, and just do that on the top, and then do the green mattes on the lower lash line, and then we'll see. I love this down here. I know it's a beige. I don't know who I am, but it's a beige and it has shimmer in it, and I'm like, you know, I love a matte with a shimmer in it. I think those are so pretty. So I'm gonna start with Petal. Oh, let me see if I have, because I put some eye primer on, but I'm not 100% sure if I have any creases. So let me start with Petal. This is an EO6, so it's like a little bit more dense and detailed. So I'm just gonna put that in the crease, and I'm gonna leave, I'm even gonna take it, you can see, a little bit higher here, and I'm gonna leave the lid. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna do shimmer or not. Will you be mad at me if I don't do any shimmer? I don't know. I'm just so feeling a non-shimmer look. These shimmers are beautiful though. I mean, you've seen the swatches and they do beautiful shimmers. I don't know. We'll see. I'll start with this one. Okay, I love that I'm showing you a dark shadow on a dark brush. I'm gonna do Thorn now. Oh, I need a little bit more. That's one of the reasons why I did Singe brushes dark, is because I always felt like, for someone who loves a lot of colorful makeup, I always felt bad when my colorful makeup ended up staining my light brushes, and I was like, well, that was a shame. So I thought I'd make them a little ombre with the brown, light brown to the dark, but still in a color. So if you do use colorful makeup like I do, you won't end up staining them. I'm just gonna deepen this up. Ooh, I think that looks really beautiful. And I'm gonna blend this out a little bit, just so we don't overcommit. I think I might put a little shimmer in the middle, but I'm really into matte looks. You know I'm into matte looks. I love a good matte look. But I think that this will be really good. I think I might do the lower lash line after this with the greens before we decide on the lid. Okay, so I'm really enjoying this. It's almost like a cool toned berry mauve, and it's a little bit choppy in here, but we're gonna fix that later. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the green and the mint on the lower lash line, and I think what I'm actually gonna do is that I'm gonna do the green on just the outer half, and then just the mint on the inner half. You know how I love to play with contrast and to be like darker on the outside and lighter on the inside, and I think like a two-toned lower lash line could be really cool. Let me see with the mint. Oh, yes. Not the most pigmented pastel I've ever used, but you definitely could build it up. So this is what I'm talking about right now, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with this one, and I'm gonna put that on the lid and in the inner corner, and I'm gonna blend it up in here. It's called Sepia. That is actually not as pigmented as I was hoping it was gonna be. Or maybe it worked out. Actually, it might have worked out. I think we're fine. And I'm just softening this in here as well, just to make things a little less choppy. I do really like how this looks, but I'm gonna put, I mean, I could just blend this out and like make sure that we're getting like a smooth blend and all of that, but I think instead I am gonna put a little bit of shimmer, but I do love it on that look. So what do we want to do? Are we gonna do this super sparkly here? Or maybe this one? Let's do this one that's super sparkly. It's called Eternal. Ooh. Wow. I was gonna do like a little faint sparkle, but this was the opposite of faint. And I'm gonna blend it up a little bit. Oh, that is cute. Oh, okay. So on an EO7, I'm gonna use a little bit more of that Thorn, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of a wedge in on the lash line. Just deepen that up. And I think that that looks really, really cool. Okay, I kind of want to do something green in my waterline. Do I have something? I wonder if this works. This is an old ColourPop. I see one of my hairs here. I don't even know. This might be dried up. No, it actually works. Let me do that in the outer half. It is called Spare Thyme. Let's do that out here. This is so old. I'm probably giving myself a pink eye. I'm gonna do that here, and I'm gonna find something mint for the inner part. So I did do a little bit of mascara, and I used the mint one from Oden's eye. This is in number 4 for the inner part, and I think that it looks really, really nice. I think it looks really nice. Like sexy, sultry, and it's like a little bit of color, but not like over the top color. I will say though, this like matte mint, it's kind of like disappearing a little bit. Let me see if I can re-add a little bit. Okay, the look is done, and I gotta say I am really excited about this look. I'm happy I did end up doing a little shimmer, and I'm sure that you appreciate that I did a little shimmer too, but I really like it. And I gotta say, this palette strikes a beautiful chord between neutral and color. Like, it's colorful enough for me to not think that this is just a neutral palette, but it's also neutral enough so that for me there are neutral options in here, but there's also some more interesting textures and undertone, which makes this palette really, really exciting. So I really like Arttitude Cosmetics quality, and I feel some of the color stories have been not perfect for me, but this one, I think it's a really interesting, like a spicy neutral palette. I just quickly wanted to say as well that I'm actually wearing the highlighter between Unearthly Cosmetics and Xander. This is the Ooze highlighter, and it is, you can see a green going to a blue purple. You can see like the shift. It's such a beautiful highlighter. Just wanted to say that as well, because you know I love Unearthly, and I really, really appreciate Xander as a creator. I think he makes amazing things. So I will link this one down below as well, because I think it is beautiful. And I'm pretty sure when you're seeing this video, it's actually already available. And per usual, you can find all the things in the description box. But I really like the look. Let's get into look number 3. Ready to do the Thinking of You, which is such a cute palette. It is a really nice warm palette with some pops of pink. There's a pink shimmer, there's a pink like duochrome topper. I'm guessing one of them leans a little bit more purple and one leans a little bit more pink, as you've already seen swatches, but I haven't. And I'm kind of thinking I what do I want to do? There are so many combinations you can do when you do a palette like this. And you're thinking, oh, I can keep with the red and the pink and use some pinks. I can keep with the brown and the yellows and the golds and do some of that. Let's try a combination that's a little bit unusual. Let's just not go for the typical colors, just maybe, because I want to keep these videos being like tutorial based and being like showing you different techniques and showing you different things. So I'm thinking, why don't we do this one and the brown and the yellow and this one here. We're gonna do these 4 shades. And I'm just gonna do something, not like I'm not out here saving the world or doing something revolutionary. Let me see if I can just blend out the primer a little bit. I'm gonna start with the Stitched Soul, which is the peachy one. But also it's so easy to get stuck in a rut. And sometimes it's nice to get suggestions of stuff you can do that's a little bit different, but still not super, super advanced or super, super scary. Because of course I could tell you to do a double cut crease with a rainbow whatever and just be super detailed and draw on some stars and blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that that would help a big part of you, because you would look at that and be like, that's really cool, but you wouldn't do it yourselves. But this kind of a color combination with a peach, a milky orange, a dark brown, and a pale yellow metallic, you know what, that you might try. Okay, I've gotten it into the crease and blended up towards the brow. I didn't put it in the inner part here because I thought, why don't we do, ooh, let me clean off this brush. It's a little EO4. It's got some yellow on it, but I think we're fine because we're gonna do this milky orange. It's called Cursed Cloth. And we are gonna do, look how cute that is. We're gonna do that in the inner part. Wait, this is so cute. Okay, I'm really enjoying this color combo and blending them together a little bit. And I think I'm gonna do the same on the lower lash line too. This is gonna be such a cute look. Okay, so this is where we are right now. And now I'm gonna use this one that is called Unraveled. And I'm gonna use that on a denser brush. And I'm gonna push that to the outer corner so that we can get a little bit of depth out here, and then keeping the inner part light with this like milky orange. So this is the EO10 and it's just a denser, more pointy, it's like a bigger pencil brush. It's really good for really packing on and building and blending in the outer corner, making sure we get it to be detailed and pigmented. I think that's gonna be really good. And then I'm gonna go in with the brush that we had before. This is an EO6. And I'm just gonna blend with a little bit more of that peach. And just make sure that we have a somewhat of a transition. I just wanna keep it dark and moody. But I think that's gonna be really cool. Okay, time for the yellow here. It is Broken Charm, and I'm gonna use an EO1, and I am so excited. I love a good yellow, like metallic, that's like not necessarily like super gold or champagne. Like this one is more like a beige, but the other one is more like a yellow. I'm gonna spray this because I like spraying my shimmers to make them a little bit more intense. Woo! And we are gonna put that, yes. Oh, that is beautiful. I'm gonna blend it into the creamy orange a little bit. And then I am gonna just gently get it a little bit up here. And then let me see if I can grab here an EO7. I love this one for detail work along the lash line. I'm gonna do that brown, and I am gonna push that on the lash line to get that little wedge that I love. Like that. Okay, I'm very into that. So this is the look right now with the little pop of like that orange in the inner corner and then the reddish brown with the peach going on over here. I think it looks super cute, and it's something where you get to play with maybe not the colors you would have picked, but it gives you something that is honestly quite wearable, even though we used colors that weren't next to each other. And I love when palettes are putting color combinations like together for you, like these colors go together, these colors go together, so that you know. But I also want to inspire you to maybe try some combinations for colors that are not next to each other on palettes. I think this is the normal good Unearthly Cosmetics quality. I think it looks really beautiful. I didn't have any problems working with this formula at all. So let's jump in to the next look. It is a little bit dark behind me, darker than normal. It's dark outside. I am getting ready to go out and go to a bar for a cocktail with my husband and Lisa. We're just trying to hang out a little extra during the evening times before she's leaving. And I am going to teach you with this new, what is it called? I Love Coffee from Klarity Kosmetics. I am going to teach you my go-to neutral look when I A, don't have that much time today, B, want to actually wear something neutral, and C, want to look like I have my life together. I want to look a little bit more awake. I want to look just fun and exciting, but still with neutrals. And I'm only going to be using brown shadows and the matte white. So we are going to start actually, I think, with like this one here, and then this brown here. So I'm going to do these two, and they are called Espresso and Decaf Please. And that could not be further from the truth. I do not want a decaf. Okay, can we talk about like coffee? Can we talk about coffee? But literally, I love coffee so much. I start my day with coffee every day. I love the taste of coffee. I love coffee. Do you drink coffee? And are you the kind of person that can have coffee that is beautiful quality? I've only used one Klarity Cosmetics palette before, and I did enjoy that one. And that is stunning. So, are you the kind of person that can have coffee like after lunch? I didn't fully realize that this was like a European thing before I moved to the US. But in Europe, even in Sweden, where I'm from, it is super common when you are going to a restaurant, or if you're on an event, or if you're having like a nicer dinner, to have coffee after dinner, either with dessert, or sometimes, depending on how fancy the place is, even like after dessert, like a full-on like espresso. In Italy, you would have an espresso after dinner at like midnight. I want to say that's how I grew up, but that's not how I grew up, but that's what I'm used to. And like, still, when me and Ricardo go out to dinner, we always ask, do you have an espresso machine? And if they do, I will say in the US, a lot of restaurants actually don't, which is, again, unusual for me. Like, that's not what I'm used to. I love a good espresso. And if they do, we always have an espresso after dinner. And I have noticed a bunch of my American friends are like, how could you? How are you able to sleep? And I don't know if I'm broken, or maybe both me and my husband are broken, but I literally have no problem drinking a coffee at midnight and going to bed. I drink coffee because I like it. I don't drink coffee because I need a caffeine. I'm a morning person, so I wake up like, if I get out of bed, I usually snooze once. Tell me about, are you a morning person or not? I usually snooze once, and then I go up, and regardless if I have coffee or not, I love the taste of coffee in the morning. But even if I don't have coffee in the morning, I'll still be like awake. That is so beautiful. As you can see, I just put the shadow in my crease. I blended it towards my brows. Pretty easy peasy. I am going to do a smaller brush. I am going to do this one. I'm going to just clean it off a little bit. And I'm going to do the one that is called Decaf Please. So here's the trick. to get this to be dramatic, but still neutral, and to make you look even more awake, even though we're using dark shadows. We're doing this darker shadow in the outer corner, and you are putting it a little bit in the outer part of the lid and a little bit in the crease, but no further than half of the crease. So we're stopping here and we're blending it in, and we're blending it into the brown that we had here. You can always go back and forth as well, but we are keeping that to the outer part of the eye, not in here. Okay, so I did use the same colors under my eyes too. And now here comes, I was gonna say the fun part, but is that true? Is that true? I don't know. But we are gonna use, this is an EO1. It is like a fluffy brush. This is perfect for matte shadows. I'm just making sure that I don't have a lot of shimmers. I'm gonna use the white shadow that is called Whipped Cream. And we are now pushing that on the inner part of the lid. Oh, not even in focus. The inner part of the lid. And we are also blending it up here, really brightening this up. So this is the way to really like brighten up the inner part of your face, giving a lot of contrast, making you look super awake and bright. So we are like gently just blending this all the way here up to the brow. Just making sure that this is not stark white, not like the lid, but just gently blend it up into this part. And then we are taking some on the lower lash line. And we are gonna do some in the inner corner too. And when we have it in the inner corner, I usually pack it on like a dot like that. And then I just kind of clean off my brush a bit. And then I start swooping and blending it downwards here. Again, to brighten up like we did here. And into the bridge of the nose a little bit as well. Just so it's really white and concentrated here. And then just gently blending it out. And this is making your eye look very dramatic, very open, and very like just awake. This is a great way of just looking really bright and giving that contrast, but still it's browns and a white. Then you choose a sparkly shade. And I think I am gonna choose this one. It is called Rise and Grind, and it is like more of a cool toned, beigey, like champagne. And I am gonna take some of the brush and we are gonna spray that. There is stuff everywhere. So we're gonna spray that. And then we're putting that where they meet here. In the middle, we are putting that. And then we are gently just buffing and blending it out. So it's just really, really harsh in the middle. And then we are just blending it in and softening it out a little bit. And then when that is done, we can go back to the brushes that we used before. This is the one with the dark brown. And we are just putting a little bit more on the edge. And this is the one with the light brown. And we're just, again, buffing it out. But this is the eye look. And I am also going to be using, and this is my little E12. I'm going to clean it off a little bit. But this is my bent eyeliner brush. And I am going to use that Decaf Please, that matte shadow. And this is so detailed. And because of the bent ferrule, you can get some really, really good precision with this. Because you can lean it against your chest. And you don't have to worry about putting your finger anywhere on your face. And we are going to do just putting a little bit of brown here to elongate this shape. And make this. See that? It gives you that little sexiness, that little sharp, like what they call siren eye, what the kids are calling. The kids are calling siren eye. Well, well, well. Okay, the lighting is hopefully okay. I do rely on some daylight in my videos. I try to film during the daytime, but it is a bit later at night, so it is dark, but I hope the lighting is still okay. I do have, of course, artificial lighting in here, but I do rely on some natural light to light up the background a little bit, but I hope it is not looking too dusky. I'm really enjoying this look, and I'm so excited I was able to show you, like, this is how I do a really like dramatic neutral eye, but still looking wide awake with the whites. So I'm really enjoying it, and I even didn't use any lashes, so I hope you enjoyed that as well. The palette so far is really nice. I think it's nice quality. The only thing I will say is there is a lot of tick up in the pan with the mattes, but that means also that you are getting good pigment on the eyes. And I didn't like suffer that much from like fallout on the eyes, but it's just something to keep in mind, I guess. But I like it. I think it's cute so far, and I'm excited that I've been able to try out Klarity. I know they've been doing some improvements on their formula as of late, and so far I've really been enjoying the brand. But I'm actually gonna do a 5th look. I don't know if I'm gonna do a 6th look as I'm filming this, but I'm definitely doing a 5th look, and you're seeing that right now. We are going to be playing with the Valentine's palette by Dede Signature today. It is called Shattered Romance. But I also have some other products, so we're going to be putting some on the cheeks. I also have my hair up in like, because I've been trying to take better care of my hair. I've been trying, that's another story. So don't mind that. But I did get 3 of the colors of the cream blushes. I really want to try them. And I kind of want to try the lightest one just to see how pigmented they are and how they're gonna look on my cheeks. And the lightest one is called Nude Petal. I also have Tangerine Crush, which is like a reddish orange. Again, I don't want to start with this one because I don't know how pigmented they are. And Peachy Glow, which also looks really, really beautiful. I'm super, super grateful. And I also have the Dazzling Bronze highlighter, and this is like a marbled highlighter. So we're gonna be putting this one on top as well because I think this is a non-shimmery blush. I also do have the 2 cheek palettes from Dede Signature. This is the Pinched Cheek, oh, there's a plastic hair trio, and this is the one that's a little pinky. It looks like that. I still have the plastic on these. And then we have one that's a little bit more orange, which is a little bit more up my alley. Dede Signature is a Black-owned brand, and she always does very pigmented and usually very bright things. So if you are looking for something, if you like a really pigmented and a really bright makeup look, or are just looking for stuff that you know will work on your skin tone if you are deeper than me, I am a light medium, definitely think you should check out the brand. So I won't be using those today, but we will be doing the Nude Petal. Let me bring out a brush for this. I think I'm gonna start, like I said, I don't know how these are. I'm gonna start with 1 dot. And I just wanna see, because again, I'm a light medium, and I wanna see how this translates on my cheeks, if a lighter color will work on me or if it's gonna look weird. 1 dot is definitely enough. You do not need more than that. I actually think that that shows up pretty nicely. It's like a nude blush on me. It definitely doesn't look weird or like milky on my skin tone, and like that's what I wanted to see. So you can see that's like just a very light faint blush, and I still think it looks good, even though as you can see when it goes on, it's a pretty light color, but it does definitely blend out and look like cute on the cheeks. And that's just what I wanted to see, like how does this blend out, how is it gonna look on the cheeks. So I think that that is looking really good. I like that. 2 thumbs up for sure. Let me get a F07 and we can do the highlighter. I am just gonna go like top to bottom and see if I can like blend all the colors together. And I'm just gonna put that on top. Ooh, that is really pretty. It's giving a warm pinky glow. On me, this is not like a beaming highlighter. It is more giving a soft glow, more like a blush highlighter hybrid, but I actually like those kind of things. I'm not that much into super light. I love a beaming highlighter. Like I love a highlighter that is very glowy, but I don't necessarily need it to be lighter than my skin tone. I like it to look like my skin is glowing, not that the highlighter that's icy on top is glowing. And yeah, that's just giving a very nice warm pink glow to the cheeks. I actually really enjoyed that combo. That combo was beautiful on my skin tone. Like, it's giving just enough warmth and glow without looking pale and without looking like a lot. I actually really like that. I'm using one of the air blurs by Makeup Revolution today. This one is in Fawn. I talked about this in a video that you probably saw on Tuesday. It was like a full face of Makeup Revolution. So I'm wearing one of those again. I'm gonna put on a little bit of eye primer and then we can do the eye look. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna do a two-toned halo eye. When you wanna spice up your halo eye a little bit, but you don't wanna make it too complicated. So we are gonna do purple on the inner part and we're gonna do this burgundy together with, I'm thinking maybe this softer pink down here on the outer side. And then we're gonna bridge together with this pink going to like a blue purple. I think that's going to be really cool in the middle. So I am going to start with this darkest like burgundy shade and we're going to do that in the outer corner and we'll take it from there. This one is called Bleeding Love and I'm not trying to take too much, but I am going to put that out here. Not all the way in the crease. I'm just trying to build it like I would if this was like an outer corner darker shade. I'm just gonna do a little, it's going outwards, upwards, like a little sliver. So I'm starting to do that. We're gonna use a little bit more of that lighter pink that I showed you just to soften this up. But I just put, what you can see is almost like a little, almost like a softened rectangular sliver just going out from the eye. And now with a smaller brush, this is a Singe EO4. Look directly into the mirror. You take the color. Since this is pinched, it's almost like a little, again, that rectangular shape. We're putting that where you have that fold. And you're putting it so it's not above the fold too much. On the lid, and just wiggling it into the fold. So you have the purple on the inner part. And now we are just gonna take it a little bit higher. Again, I am not doing any, no big motions. Everybody calm down. We're just doing small wiggly to soften up the edge. Bring it a little bit further into the middle of the eye without making it too big. And then we're just gently, no extra product. We're just gently buffing with very light hand. Even hold further out on the brush if you feel like you need to. We are softening up that purple edge a little bit just to get it again to follow that horizontal line so that it is like a little smudged. Now we're gonna do this on the lower lash line too. So I'm gonna use a little pencil brush and I'm gonna do the exact same. Purple on the inner part, and we're even gonna do a little bit in the inner corner just so they meet, not widening up too much, but just so they meet. I usually don't leave anything in the middle when I do halo eyes, but I thought I'd do that today just to show you how that looks as well, since we are doing two different looks as well. So I'm gonna do the exact same on the outer corner, and I'm gonna blend it a little lower down with one of these, and we're gonna, like I said, use the pink as well, but we'll use that in a bit. And now leave a little bit in the middle where we can use the shimmer down as well. Okay, so technically there are a couple of options that I could choose here, because I could choose either one of the three colors at the bottom. This would give us a little bit more of a muted look. This would give us something that's even brighter and pinker and keep it in the dark. I don't know if that's the right saying, but you understand. But we're gonna use this one that's more of a brighter pink, but it's a little bit lighter. So all of these colors definitely go together to give you like a different, like what are you looking for? Something darker, something brighter, something more muted. And all three of those shades would work with the purple here as well for sure. So we are gonna be doing the lighter pink, and we're only gonna be doing it around here to keep this from looking very different from this, because we want them to match, but we want them to look different. That was the whole point of this look, was to have a two-toned halo eye where we have one color on the outside, one color on the inside, and then a shimmer in between. So I'm just putting this on the outer part of the purple, blending out a little bit, and then we're gonna go in and reapply, well, not the purple, more the burgundy afterwards, to get the blend to be as smooth as possible. But you can tell it's already now giving the eye a very different feel. It's making it look pinker, it's making it look darker. So we're gonna go in again with Bleeding Love, which is the burgundy, and we are gonna blend that on top of the pink. This is how I do to get my colors to look true to pan, but also get a somewhat smooth blend in between, is that I sandwich. I put the dark one, then the light one, and then I blend them together again with the dark one on top to keep the intensity while still being able to get it to look blended. I feel like we are reaching something here where we are like in a pretty good area. You can definitely see it's purple, it is pink, it's also a little bit choppy. Don't worry too much about that. So now we're gonna go in with the shimmer and we're gonna put that in the middle and in the middle, and then we're gonna see, do we need to add something? Do we want to add something? What will fit in the like waterline and stuff? Because a lot of times you can plan out a look, but sometimes it's nice to just go by heart as well. So with this shimmer, which is called Frozen Feelings, oh, it's a little rough. This is going to determine where the rest of this look is going. And I'm going to use a flat EO9, which is perfect for these more emollient and a little bit, yeah, I can tell. These are a little bit more of a flaky shadow. So I am going to spray this. Spraying helps keep the shadow together and to stick where you put the brush down. So you get minimal of fallout and you get to be precise. Like where you stick down the brush is where the shadow is going to end up. So I'm just gonna put it in the middle, and you can see it's very shiny, but it also has almost a transparent base. So it very much lends itself to a halo eye. I always said the best shimmer shadows for halo eyes are the ones that have a semi-translucent base, the ones that we call a topper shade, because they can be layered a little bit on top of mattes and just give you almost like a 3D effect. And I'm just pressing it in to above the crease here, so it just kind of trickles out on top and hopefully will look good when it's all done. That actually looks really cool. And you can see there's a very strong duochrome to that. It's like a purple going to this blue. So I'm gonna use a little pencil brush. I already put the shadow on here and I did spray it, and first of all, we're gonna make sure that we're under the lashes. If you have longer lashes like I do, make sure to like, whoop, get under. And you have to make silly faces. It comes with the territory. I don't know, I didn't make the rules, I'm just following the rules. I will say, and you know, I'm always honest with you, this is very flaky and I do get some of the flakes falling down, so maybe a glitter glue is to be recommended. I usually don't have a lot of problems with that, but you can see here, I definitely had some flakes falling down after I applied. I don't know how I feel. You see here as well, there's one here. I usually don't have problems with that, but this shadow was it's pretty flaky. So now that I have everything on, you can see that it's not a distinct difference. And you can always make this halo eye with like a red and a blue, maybe for 4th of July or anything. Like there's so many things you could do, but you can also do it the way that I did it today. Just a subtle difference. Purple going into a more burgundy pink. It's not the same, but when you look at it instantly, it is not jarring or like, oh, those are two different colors. But when you look at it long enough, you realize, those are a little bit different. So it just gives you a little bit of added something to your makeup routine without maybe stepping too far out of line. I'm gonna use a little bit of, this is Crybaby by Colourpop. I think this is discontinued, but it is a light purple. It's gonna fit. This one is making the waterline a little bit lighter, of course. You can use a darker one, you can use a contrasting color, you could use anything quite honestly, but I thought a light purple would really go with this look. And of course you could really accentuate this difference in this the outer and the inner part even more by lining this with a little bit of a pastel purple as well. That would make it even more obvious that we have a burgundy pink and a purple. I mean, is my hair cool or what? No extensions, just like, this is all my own hair. Isn't it like pretty dope? Isn't it like pretty dope? I'm still trying to like figure everything out with this hairstyle and how to make like everything look okay, but I think that this looks good, and the makeup is looking really cool as well. I'm excited to be wearing this. I really love the Dede signature quality. I think they make really, really good things. I really enjoy the liquid blush, and I'm excited to try the other colors as well. I will say this one is quite flaky, and personally, I'm 41 years old, and I feel like flaky shadows have a tendency of not laying down or staying as great on my lids the older I get. You know, you get folds, you get crinkles, the lids are a little bit less smooth and like firm. So they're very emollient or very textured shadows, look amazing when you swatch them, but they don't always wear amazingly. And there's a bunch of my favorite brands that sometimes lean into these textures in shadows, and they swatch so greatly, and we call them like super special shadows. But if you're coming up to my age, they become increasingly harder and harder and harder to wear. And Dede Signature definitely not the only brand that will put stuff like this in their palettes. I've seen it from Bella Beauty Bar, I've seen it from Oden's Eye, I've seen it from a bunch of different brands that I love. I mean, Glamlight, Nomad, Unearthly, I would say almost every indie brand. Adept Cosmetics has it in a bunch of their palettes. Sometimes all of their shimmers are like that. They just are like absolutely incredible, but they don't wear the most amazingly on me. But we'll see how this one wears throughout the day, because I'm definitely, like I've said before in my videos, I do my makeup to wear it, and I will be wearing this one. It is early lunch as I'm filming right now, so I will definitely be wearing this look throughout the day, and I think it looks really fun. Okay, we are now gonna get into the final look, and as I'm filming this, I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna be doing, because I wanted to do a 6 look, because I've been doing that as of late. I started doing 4 palettes, 4 looks, and then I did 3 palettes, 3 looks, and then I did a couple of 6 palettes, 6 looks, and I think I'm gonna do a 6th look, and you'll see it in a bit. And as I'm filming this, I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do. I might actually pick up an old palette and do another look, or maybe something shows up. Either way, I have no idea, but you'll see it right now. You know what? I actually decided to do another look with the Singe Beauty Galactic Visitor. This is of course not a new palette. This is my own brand's palette. We are also the brand that's doing the brushes with the yellow handles. I bet you've seen them around. So I am gonna do another look with this palette because I was really feeling that today. And I didn't have any other new indie palettes that I could include in this video. And I wanted to do 6 looks, and I'm getting ready today anyway, so we are just gonna do another look with this. I know a bunch of you are always asking me if I can do more looks with older palettes, so today I am just gonna do a very quick and easy all matte eye look with only using 3 shades. I'm gonna be using the brown one, the peach one, and then the 2 peaches, the pale peaches. And I'm starting with the brown shadow, and we are gonna put that in the outer corner. This is one of the new brushes that we came out with. This is E10, so it's just almost like a bigger, stubbier pencil brush. It is perfect for outer corner work, or if you want to have a little bit more of a smudgy lower lash line, or for just very detailed blending between 2 colors without spreading them out too much if you're doing more elaborated looks. But my favorite use of this one is an outer corner. So I'm putting this one, this is a little bit of it's a dark cocoa brown that has a red undertone. And I'm putting that as a sliver out here, and I'm gonna do the same on the other side too. My eye primer is a little bit smudgy, and I'm gonna show you how you very easily, with just 2 brushes and 3 matte colors, can get a gradient matte look that looks sophisticated and just enough dramatic. I mean, you can choose yourself how dramatic you want it to be. And it can so easily go from day to night because an all matte look is perfect for daytime. I mean, I love it for nighttime too, but then you can just dab a finger on a sparkly shadow on top and you are ready for anything. I'm gonna do a little bit on my lower lash line too. I'm doing the exact same, and then I'm meeting these two together. It's very important when you are putting something on your lower lash line to make sure that it's actually meeting and merging with the colors in the upper lash line, so you don't get this weird like just gap here. And now I'm just buffing a little bit on the edges to just soften this up a little bit before we go in with the peaches. Just to have it soften a little bit. No need for it to be super detailed or like smoothen out. We will fix that later, but just a little softer. So this is how we're gonna do this super easy gradient look. Now that we have just worked with the darker shade, and it is a little bit, but not perfectly blended out, we're now going in with Hoodoos, which is the mid peach shade. Hoodoos, by the way, I was inspired, well, as I did this palette, I was inspired by me moving to Texas, because we are living in Texas right now, and not for forever, but for a bit. And I was very inspired by the Western. I've always been inspired by space and different kind of space themes. I've done a collab palette that was a Club Nebula palette, and I wanted to go back to space and do something space inspired. I'm putting this on an EO4, and you can see I'm just pressing this on the edge. And I wanted it to be aliens meets cowboys, a little bit of retro feeling, because that's what my whole brand is about. It's about a retro feeling. So I had an artist start drawing up a cover, and then I visited Bryce Canyon. And in Bryce Canyon, these kind of rock formations in this color, by the way, that Hoodoos is, this like reddish terracotta earth, they are called Hoodoos. And I was so enamored with Bryce Canyon that I told the artist I want to include Hoodoos on the front. So that's where it came from, and that is what Hoodoos is, if in case you have been wondering. Now I'm taking same brush, and we are just gently putting this on the edge of this shadow. And we're putting some under our eyes too. And on the edge here too. And we are just putting it down on the edge. And now you see, I held it in here, and now I'm moving my hand out. And we are with very fine, not pressing, fine movements. We are just blending this out to soften the edge. And still making sure that we have that peach going on here. That is looking so good. So what I like to do after I've done this is that I go back, and this is Cowgirl, which is that brown. I go back and I like reapply this and just blend a little bit on the edges to make sure that they are meeting together and blending over that peach. So I'm just gently blending over the peach to have an even softer gradient between. I'm gonna put a little bit here as well, and just re-intensifying that brown while at the same time making sure that we have a somewhat smooth edge towards the peach. Because when I did this palette, I tried to make sure that a bunch of these shades work together, that the brown will work with the red or the yellow or the peach or even with the blue, in case that is what you wanted to do, and just try to make sure that you can get as many combinations from the palette as possible. And of course, in future palettes, because they are definitely going to be future palettes, I'm trying to think about the same things. Now we are doing the lightest color, which is in, because the top line is "We Come in Peace." I liked it. I thought it was fun. I have always thought that naming shadows was my least favorite thing when it came to like collab palettes, But with my own brand, I've been having so much fun with it, and I cannot wait for you to see some future products names as well, because I am very excited. And as you can see, I'm only pressing this on what's left of the inside of the lid, and then I'm taking it up into, oh, you can see I had some of the peach left here. I don't want that, so I'm actually gonna take that away. I had some of the peach left on the brush. I did not want that. I want this to be a gradient look going from light to medium to dark. Again, still using the EO4, and I'm just now pressing on the light shade, and I'm meeting up with the other shades here, and I'm gently just tapping on where they meet so that we can get that gradient that we are looking for. Note that I'm still using the same brush, and I'm just using a third matte. Nothing super advanced, no crazy techniques or crazy advanced different like tools. We're simply just pressing tonal mattes next to each other to create a gradient. And this is such an easy way to create a really nice ombre wearable look. I'm gonna do a little bit more of hoodoos now, and I'm just pushing that in the middle to make sure that that is still present. And I'm blending with some of the dark brown again to make sure that it's looking the way that I imagined. And that is pretty much the finished look. It is tonal, it is peach, it is easy. I'm actually gonna do a little bit of this. I love this one from ColourPop. It is in Charmer, and it's like this really dark burgundy, and I think this will go with this look. Because like I said, this is a dark brown that's leaning a little red in undertone, and together with the peaches, it's almost giving that eggplant look. And I think that this liner really accentuates that and give it, again, that mysterious look. So I'm just gonna finish this look up, but I'm done. I think this looks great. Well, I don't know about you, but I think that this looks super cool, sophisticated and fun, but still giving that tonal, going from very light peach into this reddish brown. And I love it. I think it's super pretty. I'm very excited that I have done this kind of a look. And like I said, if you are like you can do this with anything. You can do it with 3 grays, 3 browns, 3 greens. You can do it with anything. You can do it a yellow going to green, going to blue. That actually works too. And then just dabbing on something shimmer in the middle of the lid if you are like going out, or if you want to have like a little bit of shimmer on it. This could be the base of so many different other things. But I love this, and I'm excited to do another look because, I mean, clearly I love this palette. I think it's super pretty. Let me bring out the other palettes and we can just have a final chat. I mean, clearly this is going to be my favorite because I love the Galactic Visitor, but let me talk about the other new palettes and tell you what I feel about those. So I have the other palettes here, and just first impression, like just thinking about these palettes, which one do I like the most? I think honestly it's the Arttitude Ink Roses. I just think that this color story is really cute. I think they really did a good job with doing something that's in between colorful and muted and neutral, not too warm, not too cool. I think this is a really good color story, and I'm excited that they did this. I also think that this might be, after the Heather Austin palette, I think this might be my favorite palette from Adept Cosmetics. It's giving me a lot of, I don't want to say hope because I feel like that's too much, but it's giving me excitement seeing so many really nice matte colors in a palette. I still wish there was even more matte colors in here. I think that this palette would have been perfect if there was 1 or 2 more matte colors in here, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm never gonna be, I'm saying as I'm wearing a full matte look, I'm never gonna be the person that does a matte in the crease, a shimmer on the lid. I know that's so many people's favorite look, and I totally get that. For me, I just always will do an eye look that has more matte shadows than shimmer shadows, and for that reason I would love to have a couple of more mattes in here. But I still think that this palette is really beautiful, and I'm excited that they redid this one. I will also say this says Adept Cosmetics, and on the back it says Minka on like a sticker, which tells me that they probably did a lot of palettes that look like this, and there's probably going to be more palettes from Adept Cosmetics that look like this, that has a sticker on the back, which Again, not my absolute favorite. I wish this said Minka on the front, but again, casting things in plastic like this is very expensive, so I totally understand why they would do it. The other palettes, I think they are really, really pretty. This is an all brown palette, which I do reach for every now and then, but maybe not enough for me to warrant having a full palette, but I do enjoy this quality, and I loved the look that I did. Felt very, very pretty in it, and if you are looking for an all brown palette, maybe that's for you. The Chattered Romance has a really nice color story. All pink eyeshadows is not something that I reach for a lot. I more usually go for something that is peach or something like different. I also will say this shadow did crease on me, which I said in the video that it's very emollient and it's flaky, it's probably gonna crease, and it did. So this is just not my favorite formula, but I know there are so many people out there, when I say that it's a flaky indie shadow, the ears perk up because they're like, ooh, because they love those kind of shadows, and if that's you, this palette does have that in here. Then we have the Thinking of You from Unearthly. I love when Unearthly does smaller palettes. I really did enjoy this color story, love the look that I did, and I love a yellow with a brown, so for me that's very exciting. And I also love that it's yellow, brown, and then peachy red, which with the pop of pink, but again also is something that I really love. So for me, this is actually like my type of neutral palette. To make this even more my type of neutral palette, this one would have been a yellow. We can't have everything, but to be honest, I think that this is a very interesting color story from Unearthly, and I think that this is something new and exciting, and I really like the front as well. It's a little embossed here. It's super, super cute. So I hope this helped out, and if nothing else, I hope you got some inspiration from these 6 different tutorials. I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you soon in a new video. Bye!